Got out this morning for the first day of spring. Happy spring, everyone. It's a beautiful day here in central coastal California. I would put the temperature probably in the probably 63, 65 degrees. It's sunny. Got a little bit of wind. We're supposed to get some very strong winds this afternoon, but right now it's just a nice light breeze blowing around. And I wanted to get out. I was on the Survival Knives and Kit Facebook group page. Last couple of days they've been having a talk about hollow-handled survival knives, and it's really interesting how many people own these and how affectionate they are towards them. I think that a lot of us had them in our youth. I certainly had one or two back in the 80s during the Rambo craze, and I still have one in my collection. This one is a Rocky Mountain survival knife that was put out a couple years ago on as seen on TV, and my daughter picked it up at, I think, a Ross store. It was on the clearance shelf. And she said, "Dad, I picked this up for you. You got to go out and have adventures with it." And I have yet to go out and really challenge myself with it, but I decided to get out here today and play around with it a little bit. I have used it before for different things. This morning I came out here and decided to cut a tri-stick with it. So, just show you some of the cuts that I made. So, what I will say is that the so-called sawback is not really a very good saw. I sharpened mine. I took a needle file and sharpened the points. They're great for notching. You can notch a piece of wood and to start a cut or to create a notch. They're fine with that. I've never used the cap lifter. It's probably a generic 440C 440 stainless. It'll take an edge. It's held it pretty good so far. Probably about 1/8 of an inch thick spine on this. Unlike the ones of the 80s, which had a zinc handle, these are a polymer of some kind of a polymer plastic. Still has a steel guard. Does not have the saw, I don't think. What it's got is the compass here, the old compass in the butt cap. And actually, yeah, actually that compass is pointing north true, magnetic north. Comes with a sheath, which has a pouch on the front. This is different from the 80s model also, which didn't have any pouch. It has a two-compartment pouch on the front, right there, which hold a fire steel, okay, which works. It's a worker. A whistle, a piece of a scraper with a little serrated tip on it right there for scraping the fire rod, and whoop hang on, gotcha, and a sharpening stone, and it's I'd put it at about a medium grit, so you could rough out a edge with it. And of course, inside the handle, handy to have your multi-twig. Inside the handle you have the generic little package of survival goodies. So I see some matches and some hooks and some line and maybe one or two bandages, some split shot sinkers, no float, might be a little piece of striker paper in there for the matches. But yeah, just kind of your generic little kit. Inside, I can see looks like the tang of the blade. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Okay. Looks like the tang of the blade is set in a big block of epoxy. They just put the tang in there and put a big block of epoxy in it. So I guess that is one way to make that work. I did some batoning with this a couple years ago and it still has not loosened. So I don't know. You know, that's usually the failure on these, is this juncture right here where the blade meets the handles, where these usually break. I just don't consider them a hard use knife. They're really kind of a novelty. It's fun. It's just fun. Don't take them serious. They're just fun to go out and play with and everything. There's a lot of great stories. I read one story where a guy's brother passed away and they were going through his things and he had one of these, one of the old zinc handled knives, and him and the dad were talking about the brother and how proud he was of it. It just brought tears to your eyes, you know. It had such a sentimentality to them. So, you know, they're just fun. Just go out and have fun with them, but don't take them serious. What I did find today is this sawback is just awful when you want to do push cuts with, you're holding something and you do push cuts. You've only got a little bit of the tip right up here that you can push on, or you got to do the work back here by the hasp. But this section right here, pushing on it, it's going to tear up your thumb. So they're not very well suited for push cuts. But again, having said that, it did do the work today, and it has not loosened up, and it will take a sharpening. So yes, it is useful. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. You know, there's a lot of knife shaming that goes on around these. A lot of people are like, oh, get a real knife, you know, and get a real survival knife and like that. Yeah, okay, you know, I would if I was going to go into a really bad situation. This is not the knife I would choose. But for a light day hike and just having some fun, you know, yeah, it's okay, you know. And that's what life's all about, is just having some fun and getting outdoors and enjoying the scenery and the calls of nature. So, you know, get outdoors this spring and start enjoying. Put some of the troubles that we've had in mind behind you. It's a beautiful life and it's well worth living. So that's all I got to say. Got some water running down here in the stream. So you all have a good day. Good talking to you. Bye-bye.